Hey Aries, welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. I hope you guys are doing well and fantastic. It has been a minute, right? Like all of June. Getting back into the readings. If you watched my video from the other day, which is like a quick update and short collective reading, June was really, I don't want to call it a rough month, but I had other things that I needed to put my time and attention into. And you know, part of doing what I do is to be able to take a pause and work on myself so that I can be better for you guys, right? So if I do the healing work, then I'm able to help you do the healing work. So thank you for your patience and understanding as we all go through things, and things are good. So on that note, Aries, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. For those of you who are returning, thank you again for sticking around. As always, I appreciate you. Aries, we're moving into the Aries, Libra, North and South Node, July 16th, July 17th, right? This last alignment of Scorpio or Taurus and Scorpio has been a very interesting 18 months. And as we get ready to move into your sign, into Libra, the idea of these readings that I'm doing in this series is to give you guys an understanding of what the last Taurus, Scorpio, North-South Node meant for you, and what to look forward to in moving into this Aries and Libra. So with that, you guys, my readings, my personal readings are open. Again, that information can be found in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page. And then you can find me at holisticallyzenwv.com. P.S. It's Sunday. You're getting me in my Sunday's finest, as I explained to Scorpio in their video. You guys you won't get frills and thrills and prettiness here. I just don't have any shits to give. Like, this is me. I'm still able to do what I do regardless. So, welcome aboard. Okay, Aries, I'm going to jump into your messages and see what Spirit has to say for you. Understand this is a new beginning, and what Spirit is pointing out to me already is this is a new beginning for you. This is a whole new cycle. This is a whole new chapter. I feel like your fiery, determined energy. It may be a little challenging, or you might have seen since March specifically is what they're giving me, that energy has been challenging for you. It's kind of like the need to pick your battles is what Spirit is saying. So let's just get the cards and see what comes up for you guys, and we'll go from there. They're not coming in with a whole lot. Spirit is saying there's a lot to be made known of, is how it was worded, the way I got it coming through. There's a lot to be made known. So, you know, I kind of get the High Priestess energy with that. It's like, you know, we're not always supposed to know everything, right? And with these cycles, you know, the North Node, if you're not familiar with it, the North Node are the things that in this lifetime we're here to work on, okay? The South Node are the things that we have worked through and processed, you know, in that regard, right? So, Aries, I feel like not just for you, but it's going to be for all signs. You know, I think people have I do moon gatherings once a month, right? And in that, I teach people, it doesn't matter what sign you are in, and I don't know why I feel the need to tell you guys this, but I'm sure there's a reason. It doesn't matter what sign you are in. Yourself is your sun sign, right? When we go through these cycles with the moon phases and in life in general, our life path, our North and our South Node, things of that nature, it's not just about that sun that we're born under. It's also about the way that those other signs come in and they change us, or what we're experiencing is different than what we would typically see, or how we would interact with certain things. That's where our lessons are coming from. We are traveling through all 12 zodiacs at any given point. All of the planets, all of the alignments, all of the conjunctions, all of the trines, you know, all of those things, we're all traveling through that, and how we process it and learn the lessons for our soul's growth is going to be the imperative, and it was just 4:44 on the clock. So let's see what happens here for you guys, Aries. All right, this is the Mystical Shamans Oracle deck. And they're throwing everything out at you guys. You guys are definitely closing a cycle out and opening a new one. That 10 there, significant to endings and beginnings. If you're familiar with tarot, you know that. But what I think is really interesting is I feel as if for you, this cycle that we are coming out of has been a high point for you guys. Not sure why I want to say that, but that's how I feel about it. It's been a high for you that you typically haven't seen. And it's felt pretty good. Pretty robust is the word that Spirit is giving. And that's a wonderful thing, right? Great. But what I'm going to say on the flip side to that is, for every high there is a low, there's ebb and there's flow. Being rhymey and cute today, right? So you're going to want to watch. If you've hit real high points, you might come to find real low points. And the one thing that Spirit also is bringing up, which is, again, a little odd for my readings, economical status. Pay attention to the economy, because I don't know why I feel like this is going to impact you significantly, but I feel that it's going to. I don't feel like it's a now thing. I think it's a coming thing. I'm ready to sneeze. Confirmation of the same. Excuse me, I am so sorry. Confirmation though, right? With everything that comes, it goes. There is always the need for that yin and yang balance. The light and the dark, as I explained to Scorpio in their video. Now I'm getting tongue-tied. Pay attention. Spirit is saying on a global scale. I almost said finances, but they're telling me global scale. Because for some of you, this is going to impact, Spirit is saying, the ability to travel, the way you see the world, and how you interact with the world around you. I do think there's going to be some significant lessons, being that we're going into Aries and Libra for you guys. So let's see, Aries, let's see what's happening. 3 cards for Aries and for the Scorpio. The drum. The lower world. Scorpio had the lower world, so you may have Scorpio placements in your chart. Is kind of how I feel about that. Side note to that, Aries, typically I would tell you Sun, Moon, Rising, right? And Venus, scratch the Venus on this one. And I would pay attention to your Sun sign and your Rising primarily for the North and the South nodes, okay? So just a side note there. The lower world, the drum. I talked about that balance. If you've been receiving for some time, gaining a lot of things, whether they're, I want to say they're material too, for some reason, whether it's money, it feels tangible to me, okay? So that could be part of that Taurus for you as we went through that node. But I feel like for you, Spirit's saying don't burn it away. Save up for a rainy day. Make sure you have plan B. Make sure you're aware of where it is that you're going and how you're doing it. It's time to start saving, putting things away. Kind of reminds me of like the bear in hibernation, right, in the winter. Like he just lays low for a little while. These next 18 months, you might want to lay low for a little bit. It's really how I feel. Yeah, harvest 10. You have harvested a lot. You've brought in a lot for yourself. But you may want to hold on to some reserves. You know, I think back, it makes me think about my grandmother. I'm going to share some stories with you guys. She would we always gardened, we canned, we did all that stuff, right? And she saved things though. She was a pack rat when it came to it, because she grew up in the Great Depression. So, you know, there's that mentality behind never having enough, being fearful of that. When she passed away in 2009, so she was 8 or 9, she would have been 96 years old had she lived another month or so. But when we cleaned out her house, in the bottom of her cellar, we found cans upon cans upon cans of goods. Moral to my story is that, granted they were old and no longer good, but she kept them. And I'm not telling you to act from a place of fear. Don't come from that place of you'll never have it again, you'll never have enough. But what I'm saying is strike the balance between knowing when to do, give, spend, and then putting it away, because you may see some lulls. And I think it's going to have to do with the economy, our economical statuses. And I mean, you take a look at groceries. I mean, they're insane right now. I went to the grocery store yesterday and it was like, holy shit. My butter, because of my allergies, went up like $1 something a little tub. I'm like, this is craziness. A loaf of my bread, $7. Like, you know, granted I'm on the East Coast, but still, it was a massive jump, right? So I think all collectively are going to have to pay attention to that. But Aries, for you, it's really sticking out. So I feel like it's kind of like a warning that you've worked hard, you've reached some reward through this cycle. It's very much benefited you, but it was also meant to give you stability moving forward. Don't think that because it's here today and you can use it today that you're not going to need it again tomorrow. So I would just be cognizant of that. It's time to kind of take what you've worked for and start to preserve some of that, okay? So Aries. And I don't even have a single card out on the table yet. Good grief. I'm going to take this guy because you may really have some Scorpio placements, or you could have also, during this time, dealt with a Scorpio, because I'm seeing a lot of the same cards trying to come out that Scorpio had in their reading. You guys were, I talked about giving your stuff away, right? Like, preserve your stuff. There's the giveaway, giving it away. Don't put yourself, I almost feel like you can go from this massive light energy that you've been in, minus the little challenges that I think kind of came out in the readings. 12:00 came out on the clock. I know you guys have had some challenges in the readings and things like that, but they were small scale, really, in the grand scheme of things compared to what is to come. So you're going to really want to focus on how to hold what you have solidly worked for. Yes, you could be a giver, but at some point you have to preserve. It makes me think, I don't know, that this may be a specific message for somebody. If you go out and you're tipping as much as your bill is, you may want to step back a hot second. You may, I'm not saying don't tip your waiters and what have you, because but if you would spend $60 on dinner and then tip $60, you may want to knock it down half a notch and stick to that 20%, right? Gratuity. So it's like, it's little things like that, but this is equal. It's like Spirit is letting you know that for every extra you got, you're gonna have to give, or vice versa. So I hope you guys are following what I'm saying. And this could also be, I'm gonna say, it's not just about money and the tangible either. It could very well be about your time, your energy, your efforts, your attention. So if you've been a taker and not a giver, it's going to be your turn to give back, or vice versa. So you apply it to where it fits in your world, of course. Don't force something to fit that does not. But it really is a time as this phase is moving through, as we start this new phase. Alright, Spirit for Aries. We have the blade. To me, I'm hearing from Spirit cutting through. You've really been a warrior to where it is that you were going and heading and what you were doing over the last cycle, Aries. And I think that's a wonderful thing. The wind came back out again, so I'm going to take that one. Fast-moving energy. It's almost like everything may be ushering in for you at once. There may be I'm hearing one more big break before this cycle closes on the 16th, 17th. So I'd say in the next week or so, you may see something really open up for you. One more big opportunity is how Spirit is giving this to me, which is beautiful. Then you have the Earth Keeper. Be prepared. There's that 6 and that 9. Again, that yin and that yang energy that I talked about. The harvest once again on the bottom. The corn. That Earth Keeper. Very interesting energy. You may, Aries, be going this alone. Part of our greatest growth during spiritual enlightenment is, one, it's probably one of the most uncomfortable, and that is just kind of being by ourselves from time to time. Getting comfortable with maybe not nights out with friends and dinners with friends, or a person to go home to. It's really learning to sit with ourselves and discovering who it is that we are at any given point. It's taking away the labels and the titles of mom, dad, worker, owner, brother, sister, mother, daughter, fathers, uncles, aunts, whatever it is, right? And then being kept to ourselves so that we can sit back and take a rest to reflect on who we are outside of all of those roles. And Aries, I think that's kind of what is coming in for you. I'm getting a lot more energy of what's coming in rather than what you've done in the past 18 months. But what I will say, I'm going to look at this card. I'm going to tell you this too, and this is a strange message. And I was looking at this picture, at this corn card, okay, the corn, and what I see at the top of these ears of corns, which up close looks to be the corn silk, essentially, okay. But there's one golden ear that doesn't have that. But when I looked over and I was looking at this card, I seen faces, almost devilish kind of faces. And what I heard from Spirit was the workers around you. So these workers, I would say, could be these could be people that work for you, right? There could be people that you've just had in your energy field for some time. This could be family, this could be friends, this could be multitudes of people from various situations and scenarios in your life. But I'm going to tell you that the feeling that I get with that is very uncomfortable to me. It's almost like it's everybody out for themselves kind of energy. So I would be aware of what it is you're doing. It's almost like you're going to be set. And I think you've had this many paths was in the reverse, which I have no idea why it was, but we're going to leave it that way. And that's how I'm going to interpret it. I think you've had a very narrow way of thinking about how you're going to proceed forward, okay? And maybe it was with this group of people, maybe certain family members, situations, jobs, right? Could be anything. Spirit is saying they see you as a meal ticket. So if you've been providing something to somebody, I think that the true colors of situations will come to focus for you once you stop giving. And you need to be aware of that. This could be very much a part of the next lesson in this new chapter for you. Spirit said finding humility. Finding a new way of being. You're going to have to learn how to do it differently. I almost kind of feel like it's a little bit of what Scorpio just went through in some ways. Right? But this Earth Keeper, coupled with that energy, is telling me that it's because you've been willing to put in the work. I said you completed this cycle, right? Like you've hit those major points. It's been good. What comes out for the past of this last cycle? Success. Congratulations. You've done it. You've cut through the bullshit. You've worked with other people. You've seen your glass as half full rather than half empty. The ability to have a lot of things. And again, for some reason, Aries, they just feel like the focus has been on the tangible for you. What it is that you were able to obtain. And I think you've had great joy in doing it. It's been a lot of fun for you. I think some of you signed contracts, did some good business dealings, opened your eyes to some new things, found a way to collaborate with other people. It's almost like kind of like you reunified with certain parts of your life too when it comes to other people. Maybe in the past, you and them kind of kept each other at a distance, or just never really dived into anything emotional but all of a sudden there was this sense of unity, of learning how to work with one another in a very easy approach, very easy way. So, I'm sorry if the lighting keeps changing. I'm working by the light of the sun, and I never did turn the thing on, so give me 1 second. There we go. Now we've got light. So, didn't even realize it. So I think that, you know, your ability to collaborate and work well with others has served you and provided you with some extra comforts that I don't think you thought, I don't say that you didn't think they would ever be, but it was just, I guess it wasn't anticipated. Not the way that it happened anyhow. It was like it either had to be all or nothing, but you got a little bit of something that seemed to bring in and usher some peace that you were surprised that you had, and you were comfortable with it. It was just enough to make you feel a little better. Moving on to the next cycle, reminder in the moon. There are things hidden around you as you move into the Aries, Libra, North and South node. I talked about those people, right? The way that popped up to me and what caught my eye and attention. Your spirit said you're going to see the many faces of certain individuals around you. For some of you, I feel like you're dealing with a younger masculine energy, is what spirit just showed me. So this could be a son, this could be someone who's working with you or for you. 44, again, 2141 on the timer. This is about a cycle. It's very interesting. They're kind of showing me the completion once again of this last cycle for you. Careful with your temptation, Aries. You're going to have to stop and make head over heart decisions. You're going to have to stop and address the way that you this is what they're giving me, the way you ambitiously move forward without thinking. That's going to be very, very important for you, not to just jump because you feel it needs to be done right now. You're going to have to do it a little different than you have before. Learning how to resolve that energy is going to bring you a greater sense of peace. Just like I said, you found this peace with being able to work with others over this last cycle, and now it's finding this peace once you realize that not everything has been what you thought it was. It's not what it seems, right? So I think that's going to be a very, very important and very key piece to this for you. Because that 5, that 50 breaks down to a 5. That's massive change. You're going to see the people you dealt with in a very different manner than before. These cards, it's coming out like that. I do believe that, Aries, you've made some really good choices, and you've put in a lot of hard work and investment. I will say for some of you on the flip side of that, whether this is for you or somebody you're dealing with, Aries, in the past, it was like somebody was always waiting for you to kind of make the first move, waiting to see what you were going to do and how they could join you in your successes. And if this was you, who you were kind of waiting for the other person, whoever the other person or situation might have been, to put in the work, so it's kind of like riding off the coattails is how it feels. I guess the best way to explain it. Somebody wanted somebody to put in the work so they could enjoy the reward, period. But I don't feel like this was you, probably somebody else, right? There will be karmic judgment that comes from that. You cannot lie, cheat, steal, use, abuse, without collecting some negative karma. And I do feel like, Aries, that whoever this was that you were dealing with, there was a lot of them waiting for you to reap the rewards so they could reap the rewards off of your hard work. So when you're moving forward, make sure that these investments are going back into you. That if you've been overly giving, you're learning to preserve. Because it's like they would see you without, and they wouldn't care that you were without. So you want to be mindful of the connections, and I think moving into this Aries, Libra, North and South, there's going to be a lot of enlightenment for you on how this works. You're going to want to pay attention to that. It's going to be very important for you. All right, future energy. I do feel like in the next one, there's going to be, I don't know why, a lot of temptation. Don't know where that comes from, and you got to think about your own habits, your own patterns. The temptation, because you're going from the 6 to the 7, but you know that 6 of Pentacles is equal, right? It's an equal balance. It's an equal give and take. That 7 is an odd number. So you're defensive, waiting for things to come to fruition, playing with it, seeing what's coming along, what's not. Gives me the 7 of Pentacles vibes off the Light Seers deck. You know, he's sitting there waiting for his plants to grow, kind of thing. Like, keep digging it up, you don't see, right? It's kind of like that. But again, I really feel like there are people in your life, Aries, who you've kind of turned a blind eye to maybe some negative patterns or habits, because you wanted to see the better of them, right? Like you were hoping that it wasn't quite what you thought it might be, because it had the potential to be something else. But you're also realizing that what you've poured into, it's not enough. The harvest, reaping the rewards from that, is just not enough. So you're going to want to be very cautious with that. Because I do feel like, and there you are, Father of Wands, that it could get you caught up in the communication of how it comes across. And it does feel that Justice card in the reverse, the 10 of Cups in the reverse, the Knight of Swords, the 2 of Wands, or the 2 of Swords again, and then the King of Wands is, I feel like somebody's constantly with their hand out, Aries. Waiting for you, waiting on you. And I think that for some of you, you have been generously giving. Like I said in the beginning, tipping, right? Same difference. Sure, I've got the extra, money, so I'll tip her $60. I mean, you really got to stop and think about the people around you. I think this is going to be a life lesson in people. 7 of Wands. Time to learn what your boundaries are. It's time to establish boundaries. There's a difference, Spirit is bringing to my attention too. There's a difference between your boundaries and being selfish. If you've been in a selfish energy, understand that selfishness is going to get you nowhere. Some shitty karma. This is about karmic balance, the North and the South, right? And that's kind of how this is coming in for you. If you've been a taker, you're going to experience what it is to have to give back. What it is to be taken from and to be without. If you have been a giver, you're probably going to learn a very valuable lesson in overgiving because you haven't had the proper boundaries. Plain and simple. Very much what your reading consists of, Aries. It's interesting energy. So take that, do with it what you need to, but understand that this next cycle, you're going to get a very, very different perspective on how you relate to other people and what it is that you're going to give away and take away. All right, Aries. Card of advice for you. This card of advice. Card of advice for Aries, please. Card of advice for Aries. For the North. You got 2 of them. Yeah, I feel inclined to take these. I'm going to take them both. Ishtar's Lion Gate, 888. Talked about those 4s. That card is number 44, which breaks down to an 8. Again, those cycles, right? It is time to be fierce. It is time to make yourself known. It's time to have an illumination. It is time to find the courage and strength within you, Aries. I do feel like that with this lion, these are amazing cards. I love these. Look how beautiful those are. This is the White Light Oracle deck from Alana Fairchild. But there's a fierceness, but behind that fierceness of making shit happen, it's like, it reminds me of like the soft, cowardly lion, right? From The Wizard of Oz. That there's a heart of gold that lives within. And there's a need to tap into that. And I said, you might have to make choices that are head over heart. And I feel like that's the struggle. And it's funny that I say that and I look back down, because what do you have here? You've got that beautiful flower of life sitting at the head, the crown center, and right below the throat. Because you're going to have to vocalize these choices. And down below would be the heart space, another flower of life. There needs to be a divine flow of energy that's running through the internal chakra centers, from the heart to the crown. It's going to be very important that you find that balance for yourself. Number 12, 3. Lots of 3s. Lots of third-party energy around you. Perfume of Sophia. I almost feel like with that energy, you're kind of stepping back. Stepping back and taking a breath and being a little caught off guard by the behaviors of some and trying to find yourself a space to reach your footing again. I'm not saying that the next 18 months are going to be hard as hell on you, but they are going to be karmic lessons. And it's really going to make you aware of how people operate and where you've been operating from, most importantly. There, we had the Hangman, and then you look at her. It's the perception. It is the third eye. Right? You will be gaining a different perspective on how this all works. Some of you, and this is going to be a very bold statement, but I'm putting it out there. Some of you are going to be taken back, and others of you are going to be begging for mercy. And it's all going to be about what you did this last cycle. It's going to be the important thing there. We cannot do things that we would not want done to us and expect it not to come back around. And then if you've been that giver, have you given out to your detriment? Have you done it so much that you've taken from yourself in the long term? So, with that, Ishtar's Lion Gate 888. August will be a very pivotal month for you, by the way. Your heart has heightened connection with the higher realms of consciousness and light. A blessing, empowerment, and positive omen shall enter your world. Doors will open for you. Abundance and prosperity are headed your way. Take care of your heart. Ask for spiritual assistance, and it shall be granted. Something negative is going to transform into something very positive. Ishtar is the queen of the night, a dark goddess of loss and letting go, but also a priestess of light who holds the keys to renewal from suffering. She is relentless in her pursuit to the path, to true inner freedom. She willingly surrenders her attachments and her identities, even separating herself temporarily from her loved ones with such boldness and confidence that she crosses into realms where others dare not get to go. She experiences vulnerability and in the state discovers deep truth. Ishtar is the capacity of the soul to integrate our experiences. After reaching the greatest depths of suffering, she emerges and is reinstated upon her rightful throne, even with greater wisdom, spiritual power, and compassion. In a reading, she is a guardian and a symbol of resurrection. You shall rise again. Those who have felt as though their identity or any other marker of security has been torn away from them are her children. They will find their way back to peace and prosperity under her auspices. If you have been suffering, this oracle indicates an end of the struggle is imminent. You shall be restored with so much more than you have lost. Ishtar is depicted as the queen of the night, relief that dates back over 4,000 years from ancient Babylon, which was located in the lands of the present-day southern Iraq. She is a bird, woman priestess with talons and wings, flanked by owls and lions. She holds sacred tools, a rod and a ring in her hands, and is bejeweled and naked, symbolizing her power and her freedom. Her symbols are the gates, the 8-pointed star, and the lion. She is considered the goddess of the planet Venus, but the star Sirius is also sacred to her. Its rise each year marks her ascent from the dark realms, which ensures prosperity and good fortune for the year ahead. Her jewels and tools represent her great power and effectiveness. The stars represent her higher consciousness and loving wisdom and are a sign of great blessings for your life, indicating prosperity, peace, healing, and love. The lion's gate falls when the sun is in Leo. Leo is in the sign of the lion, the astrological ruler of the heart and the animal totem sacred to Ishtar. The rising of Sirius took place on July 26th in ancient Egypt, which marked the beginning of the Egyptian New Year. In modern times and different latitudes, the dates for the rising of Sirius varies considerably. Nonetheless, the 8th day of the 8th month is considered especially potent when combined with the 8-pointed star of Ishtar, the numerical frequency of the spiritual portal or doorway that opens up on August 8th becomes 888. The 888 frequency will stimulate your soul in its own unique way. It facilitates a deepening intimacy between the spiritual worlds and the earth planes, an amplification of light and an outpouring of positive blessings for humanity. It is believed many, if not all, cosmic avatars who come to earth as advanced spiritual beings hail from Sirius and make their blessings increasingly available to humanity during this opening between the worlds. This oracle brings a message of a breakthrough and healing, of significant lightening up of your life and the end of deeply challenging cycles in your life. There is a special divine dispensation augured by the oracle of Ishtar's lion gate 888. Where hope has been difficult to find or all seems lost, the light shall return and beautiful blessings are destined to unfold in your life. And I'm going to say this to you, Aries, that I think that as you go through this cycle, that's going to be the key thing that you need to take with you. Somebody told me here not long ago when I was going through some stuff last year myself that it won't always be this way. And on my hardest days, I stuck by that. And I can tell you, no, it doesn't stay that way. It's just for now. It's a lesson. Okay? Perfume of Sophia, number 12, breaks down to a 3. You will be able to sense the best timing and approach to take. To create space for healing and resolution, connect to your body and ground yourself in the here and now with body-friendly practices. You will find your way intuitively and instinctively, even through confusing circumstances, where one moment you will share the answer is no, or you are sure the answer is no, and the next moment you are sure it is yes. Give up trying to figure out the right answer and remain open with positive but relaxed expectations that clarity shall emerge spontaneously according to divine timing. Trust that your questions about your life will be answered. Even now, you are in the process of working your way toward the answers that will bring you clarity and higher understanding. There is a kindness in how the universe delivers a message. There is a story of 3 rabbis who went into a room and saw God. One rabbi dropped dead, the other one crazy, and the third one became enlightened. It was the same room and the same divine presence, so what accounts for the different outcomes? When we are ready for knowledge, divine guidance is incredibly helpful and healing. However, we need certain experiences to become ready. There is so much grace in veiling a truth as in revealing it. There is a beautiful Sufi teaching that destiny is granted with compassion. There is a time to prepare for knowledge, a time to receive it, and a time to live it. There is danger in trying to force knowledge. Force is the desire to progress faster than is naturally taking place. It is a disconnection from natural rhythms, the sacred feminine, the power of knowing, and divine timing. The oracle of perfume of Sophia asks you to trust your nose. The spiritual symbolism of the ability to smell is the capacity for discernment. In the words of Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. The nose knows. As you lean into natural timing rather than trying to force something to happen, you'll remain connected to be your own ground of being. You won't be pushing to get ahead. You'll be in connection with yourself. You'll be able to sense with your body and soul that which might otherwise confuse your mind, with its tendency to argue first one way and then another. You will instinctively sniff out the truth of a situation, then you shall be able to do something useful with that knowledge. Developing the patience required to see us through times when we cannot know something with trust. And I just have to laugh, when I say that. It's like high priestess energy. Sometimes you're not meant to know. Divine timing. Aries, divine timing. Definitely. Anyhow, I'll finish this. It's almost done. Developing the patience required to see us through times when we cannot know something with trust and hopefully some equanimity is an important part of our soul's journey. If such times evoke fearful and negative predictions or anxiety based on a lack of belief that you can deal with whatever arises with grace and dignity, then work on those issues. Do what you can do now. Leave everything else up to the loving and wise workings of the universe. If you are pushing for a resolution, an answer, and understanding before it is time for you to know, you'll feel frustrated. It will be more constructive and enjoyable for you to engage with what is. Will it require the development of your character, the capacity for patience, for trust and faith, for commitment and devotion, even when there is no evidence you shall succeed? Yes, likely it shall. Especially if you are carving a path that is unique and creative. To live in such a way is wonderfully courageous and inspired and requires spiritual maturity. Aligning yourself with a greater wisdom and timing and surrendering yourself in its services is the basis of spiritual maturity. You will have your answers, and in the interim, you are doing beautifully. Continue with your journey. There you go, Aries. I think that pretty much sums it up, don't you? Awesome. All right, guys, if you found this video resonated for you, you can please hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for being patient for the readings to come out. Life is life, right? Life is life. If you want to dig more into your own personal situations, again, those readings are open and available. You can find that information in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page. Check me out at holisticallyzenwb.com. There you'll find a full product and service list of everything that my retail space has, and then just about every service that I do is on there, I do believe. And you guys have any questions, you can reach out through there as well. Aries, love and light, sending you positive vibes, for lack of a better word. Just know that this next cycle it's meant to spiritually crack you open, and from one cracked open person to those who may be starting to experience it, it is not a journey for the faint at heart. But I promise you that what comes out the other side of that is amazing. It truly is. So hang in there. Remember, it's just for now. It's not forever. And things that are meant to stay will stay. And things that aren't, they won't. And that's okay. All right. I'm sending you guys tons of love. You take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.